Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Saturday afternoon, I'm just relaxing. Have a mellow Saturday for once. Usually I'm just slammed with work and things to do on Saturdays. Today I'm just kind of chilling. Let's do a little bit of biker news. Let's do a wrap up of Bike Week. Bike Week 2024, Daytona Beach, just happened. Ended a week or two ago. We're on to the next event, spring break. We have a spring rod run. We have a couple major hot rod events. This is the spring weekend, and they take up the entire racetrack. It's basically a giant swap meet and a car show. It's not a bad time. So if you drive through town, there's lots of classic cars, muscle cars, vintage cars, and they're all out there at the track doing business this weekend. Bike Week 2024, the attendance numbers, speculative. They come out officially by the middle of next month or so. The Daytona Beach Chamber of Commerce is the ones who releases those numbers, and they compile them through several different sources. I've heard a rough estimate of around 420,000 people that showed up. Now you may think that that's great. That's spread out over the course of 10 days. That doesn't mean that there was 420,000 people in town at one time. But even if it did mean that, for me, I've been doing these events for 20 years now. It feels like it's a dinosaur that's dying in a tar pit. This event has become so corporate. The bikes are all the same. The real bikers are harder to find. The small vendors have been edged out because of the prices of vending places are hard to afford. Even the vendors that I work with, these are not small timers. They have giant tents, and those are the only ones that can survive. In past years, we've seen 800,000 people. That's over the course of 10 days, with very easily 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 people in town at once. We've seen traffic lined up halfway to Orlando, where it's just been ridiculous. So those days are long gone. And maybe it's all for the best, because it did feel for a while there, about 10 years ago, maybe a little more, 12 years ago, it felt like it was too much. And I worked the events, and for somebody who has PTSD and doesn't do well with crowds, it was overwhelming. So now it's a little bit more fun. We have two bike events. Biketoberfest is the second one. It's a smaller one. It's just a weekend, and that's more of a party because it's smaller. Bike Week is still a decent time, though. There was a gigantic presence of one percenters in town for the week. Now that depends on the year, but it's common. Not every year we get hit with that, but it has happened many times in the past. There are no more clubhouses up on Main Street. When I first moved to town, the Outlaws had a clubhouse right up on Main Street, right around the corner from Main Street, so you saw a large presence of patches roaming around that area. The police and the city shut them down. They literally took the property and leveled the property. They didn't just sell it. They destroyed it, demolished it, turned it into an empty lot, and pushed the Outlaws off Main Street. I saw a large outlaw presence, the Outlaw Motorcycle Club. Some people use that term just as a generic term. I'm using it very specifically as a group, the AOA. I ran into a large group of them at Willie's Tropical Tattoo, the Willie's Chopper Show. Now, for those of you looking for a Bike Week party, that's really the only place, I say the only place in this area these days that you can see old school bikes, choppers and bobbers and garage builders and cool Indian Larry style old school bikes. They don't usually do very many radical choppers, that's down at the Boardwalk show. And not very many bikes sign up for the Boardwalk show. It's hard to find a large show with radical bikes because the radical bike scene really isn't happening anymore. The Rat's Hole Custom Bike Show, they still have it. It floats around somewhere. I think it's over at the Indian dealership each year. It's nothing. It's a nothing show. We used to enter it every year religiously. We had to be in the Rat's Hole. That's what Bike Week was about for me. It was about one thing and one thing only, and that was building a bike so we could be in the Rat's Hole. That's what Bike Week was for me. We did that every year. And that's back when Orange County choppers would be in the parking lot. They'd be standing around in their Spider-Man bike. I remember one year they had that stupid Spider-Man bike and Junior's wearing his little Spider-Man outfit like an idiot, fat Spider-Man. But it worked out for them. Those guys got famous the next year. Russell Mitchell, Matt Hotch, Chica. I wonder whatever happened to Chica. I always liked his stuff. Everyone you can think of would be there. Now the only place that you can see cool bikes is at Willie's show. It's in a tiny little parking lot at a tattoo parlor. It's not on the main strip or anything. You have to kind of go and find it. But it's not hard to find. I go every year. I try to show up early. I breeze through quickly and then I'm out. It is overwhelming with people and media and YouTubers and cameras. Oh God, the cameras. And I'm not trying to be on your channel. I'm not trying to be interviewed for your channel. I go early. I shake hands with the people I need to shake hands to. See the bikes, because the bikes are there early. And then I'm gone. The place is full of cops. It's full of undercover cops also, both. They got the gang squad, they got regular police, and they got undercover cops all throughout that area. And the Outlaws set up out in the back. They have little vendors back there. I went back there to check out the vendors, and they had a couple shops that were all right. They had one shop, I forget what they're called, Gushers or something like that. And they were doing pretty interesting old school stuff. Nice guys. I think they were out of Philly. They had these other guys that were complete Nazis. I got no problem with your politics. It is what it is. But that stuff is hard to advertise. So they were way in the back. Oddly enough, the Outlaws have their own church. I don't know if it's a tax front. I don't know if it's a way to have a nonprofit front. But they got their own church with Bibles and whatever, and they're trying to recruit people to go to it. I sat and talked with them for a minute. As I was leaving, right across the street, about, geez, I'd have to estimate and say about 60, could have been 50, Sons of Silence, the motorcycle, 1% Motorcycle Club. And they're a rather mean club, notorious, I should say. They have a big reputation. I don't know any members, so I can't like say that any of them are bad people or good people, or, you know, I can't give you a review of them, but I'm aware of them. And I'm also, at least in my knowledge, I'm aware that they're not friendly with the Outlaws. They showed up full force right across the street at the fast food place. I forget what it is. And they were parking their bikes. They had all their prospects, all their hang-arounds. They had every one of their people. That definitely made the Outlaws, there was only a small bunch of Outlaws across the street at the Chopper Show, but that's their turf. The Outlaws show up at that Chopper Show every year, and they have for 20 years. But they were nervous, obviously nervous. They were on their cell phones. I think every one of them was staring across the street on their cell phone, making calls, who knows for what, backup or who knows what. The cops were getting edgy. The cops were also trying to plot and scheme. I could tell as I was crossing the street. I looked at the cops that were running the traffic, that they were concerned. They were talking to each other. They were pointing. Most people are oblivious to what's going on, but I didn't read about any gunshots, so it must have been a mellow event, and it is possible, some of you guys are much more sophisticated with the 1% world than I am, it is possible that the Sons of Silence contacted the Outlaws and notified them or asked them or something or other, said we're going to show up. Is that going to be an issue? But that's the Bike Week wrap up 2024. Thanks for watching.